While the West has seen its share of surprises, they have also had their share of disappointments as well. After being picked near the top of the Northwest Division during the preseason, the Canucks are currently in 11th place in the Western Conference with a 12-11-0 record through 23 games. Meanwhile, the Anaheim Ducks are in last place in the West with a 7-11-3 mark through 21 games. So who is the bigger disappointment to the Western Conference, the Ducks or the Canucks?
Well, obviously, looking at the record, it's got to be Anaheim, and for that matter, they can be the biggest disappointment in the league as far as I'm concerned. And you look at the acquisitions they brought in, Saku Koivu, for example, was brought in to help with Timo Solani, and they haven't gotten much done lately. And you're looking at Getzlaf, you're looking at the underachieving scoring right now. It's a little disappointment. And on the bright side, they have Jonas Hiller, who's separating himself from J.S. Jaguar, who won a Stanley Cup and 2 Stanley Cups for that matter. But amidst trade talks, maybe it's factoring in a little bit. But as far as the Canucks go, too, they are a little disappointing. I have to admit that. But at the same time, Roberto Luongo is hurt, so you could make the case that Luongo's injury has played a factor in it. But you can't put it all on that. It's because they're scoring right now. They're underachieving too, and you have the Sedins signed to a contract extension. You have Kessler underperforming, Pavel Dimitrov. The list goes on, but they're going to have to pick it up, and there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, I don't think you can pin the scarlet letter on Roberto Luongo. Obviously, he is their backstop. But I think it's tough to call the Canucks, in my mind, a disappointment this year. They're 3 points out of the race. If the season ended right now, they'd be only 3 points out of the playoffs. So I think with one game over 500, we're only 20 games into the year. So I think there's a lot of time for them to turn it around. Obviously, Roberto Luongo will be there the rest of the way, barring some drastic injury. But their offense will turn it around. They have time, and I think the Olympics in February are going to be a big boost to this team. They're going to draw a lot stronger fan base, over the next few months with the hype surrounding the Olympics, and it's something that can only benefit them in the long run. So I don't see the Canucks still squandering come April, but I think it's something that they'll turn around. They have it on their plate. They need to do what they can to turn everything upside, right side up, and focus on the future.
Well, you also look at St. Louis. You can add to the list too. I mean, it's a young team. Don't get me wrong. And they have Paul Correa back, so the veterans are going to help out in the long run. But right now, through 20 games, it's a little disappointing. Yeah, but they were in this position last year, and then they went 19-7-2 in their last 40 or 30 or something, and they separated themselves and got to the playoffs.
Like we said before, these guys, it's only a quarter of the way through the season. They still got enough time. Any team can turn around. We've seen the Bruins do it, St. Louis, all the teams. They've all come through. So it could still be anybody's race. All right, everyone, well, thank you for joining us here on this edition of Inside Hockey Television, coming to you from our high-definition studio in downtown Boston, alongside Chris Conroy and Tim Rosenthal. I'm your host, McKenzie Lavoie. We hope to see you back here next week.